Where do we start?
For me, hands down, it's people staring. I hate people staring. Like, you get on public transport, you can do whatever you want kind of thing. You could be on your phone or just chilling and people will come on it and the first thing they'll do is...
It's super awkward because if you're looking at me, you do that thing where you look away and then you look back to see if they're checking and they're still going and then you look away and you're like, am I the one staring now? Or
you've got to wait for them to
I go on the offensive, so if they're staring, I'm like...
and then you'll just keep going.
It works, it will work. Maybe not sometimes for a lady, they might think it's an interest, but me, I'm like...
Just play stare chicken.
No, but it's not interest when another woman's looking at another woman.
No, true point.
What do you want?
True that.
And for girls, it's kind of like, sometimes it can be a compliment, because a girl would look at another girl and just be like, wow, you look amazing.
Yeah, and I would say that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I like your hair, I like your top. Not...
Yeah, but not many people do say it, because some people are quite shy about that. But when it comes to it, like...
Another one is like people looking at your phone. You have that on public transport.
Oh,
like,
I have the privacy screen on my phone.
Yeah.
That's what
so
you
you
need,
can't look into my phone because I hate that, because I know I look into other people's
But they
phones.
still try.
You see the person.
They're still sneaking. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're just sat next to them watching and they just, like, they just will keep going for like 10 seconds. They'll just be there looking over someone's shoulder and you're watching.
I've always wanted to see that thing where like they're looking and you type like, hello, can I help you? Just catch them out.
So I'm someone who's like always late. So I do my makeup on the tube. So do you find that annoying? Like if there's people doing things on the tube, like...
I had that today. It wasn't really annoying, no. I was more worried about nudging them and ruining their day. Unless they're over like 2 seats, and then it's like, can I sit down?
But then see, that's what really annoys me is, for example, if you're on a bus, when people sit on the outside of the seat and they put their bag next to the window.
Yeah. No, but I do that sometimes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but it's empty. But it's a thing where it's by default if you're by yourself to sit on the outside.
So if the bus got really busy, would you still be like...
No, I get out and let them get in because I know where I'm getting off.
Yeah.
And I know that I want to be able to get off. Like the new buses, the 3 doors, like very narrow. So you have to have space. And then you know where you sit on the 3-door buses and then you're facing each other and then your knees are touching. It's just like, I don't touch my knees. I don't like legs touching. So if you're sitting
the person next to you.
Yeah, I don't want your thigh touching my thigh or your elbow touching my elbow.
I'm not too bothered about that.
No, I don't like contact.
Oh, he's fine with a cuddle him. He's like, there's a phone, just put hello.
Yeah.
It's over.
Then I put my arm out. You know.
The controversy involving actor Liam Neeson. The
Liam
popular
Neeson
actor
is known for his relentless rage and revenge thriller.
Caused by Liam Neeson's real-life temptation to
Neeson,
exact
the actor
revenge.
admitting to racial profiling.
Liam Neeson deserves a medal, and I'll tell you why.
Brutally honest admission from actor Liam Neeson in an
Man. It's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's like an admission. It's like a diary insert, isn't it? Almost like to what he's saying. It's crazy because most people I don't think would admit that, especially someone so large in the public eye.
Yeah, but I mean, he's always been that kind of person that you can just expect him to say the honest truth, kind of thing. And in some ways, like I can understand a way he'd go about it, but I think the way he went about it was wrong. Kind of thing, announcing it that he was going after a black bastard and stuff like that. I think that's rude to many people, to be fair, especially like coming from an ethnic background as well. Like knowing if he was just out on the search for someone to have a go at him, not just like to find out who that person was.
Yeah, he generalised, and that was the issue.
A part of the role he plays as this action man villain is part of his truth. Because people don't get casted for roles unless they know you can...
You show that kind of
you
background.
You show those characteristics.
You show that strength.
So I do feel like it was a long time coming. I feel like it's his truth. He's not lying. But I also think he's very brazen. He wanted us to know. If he didn't want us to know, he wouldn't have said it.
He's not stupid.
Because who tells that sort of stuff to journalists?
Yeah.
As an A-list celebrity, who talks to journalists on that level?
I don't know. I think what I noticed from that quote, like it's crazy because he obviously brought the race into it. Like he didn't just say a guy raped, you know, my family member or person. He was like, it was a black person. I was looking for a black person to come out like black bastard. He was saying this, and then
There's
was
no
like,
need to add that modifier, is there? You don't need to add.
No, but then in his roundup, he didn't even say, "Oh, I realise how ridiculous that is to have that prejudice against somebody. It's not them." His roundup was, I've realised that killing is more killing and that revenge solves nothing. And I'm like, is the fact that revenge solves nothing the only thing that you took out of what you just said? Nothing to do with the like severe racism that you just put across as well.
I feel like the interview though that he had, it was kind of like him joking in some ways, like trying to link it to his movies and stuff, because obviously he has that whole speech.
It was like a movie speech, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's just like, I will find you and I will kill you, kind of thing.
Literally.
Like, you kind of didn't expect, you thought, oh, he's only joking kind of thing, but as soon as he added that modifier, that kind of put everyone at a little bit of discomfort, and then obviously you tell it to a journalist and it's in 10 magazines by the end of the week.
Crazy.
Kind of thing. It's, some ways I can understand like his anger and stuff like that, because having someone that's been attacked and that, despite if they dealt with it in whatever way, knowing that someone was seen as vulnerable to someone, even if they were described as 7 foot, like, basketball player, a person's only going to see what they pictured from what was described to them. So if the person said, I didn't really know what they looked like, all I know is they're black, the only thing he's going to think in his head is, black person, black person.
The thing that's interesting as well, I think, is whoever obviously raped this person, some thuggish, horrible person, and in saying that, oh, I wanted a black guy to come up to me to hurt him, you're suggesting that all other black guys are like that.
I feel like racism, prejudice, discrimination does not come with a certain type of person.
No.
I feel like you are who you are. So just because Liam Neeson is white and he came out with these comments, I'm not going to label every other white person he works with or in his family as a racist. I just feel like he does have racist tendencies, but I don't know if he is a racist. We don't know if he's a racist.
In some ways, though, and this could be just theoretically speaking, most people are racist no matter what, kind of thing, because you could look at someone and just be like, oh, you're from such and such kind of thing. Like, you could look at someone who's got, say, Chinese background and be like, oh, you're from China, but actually they're British.
Or Korean.
Or Korean, yeah. Exactly. Like,
I just think it's because of lack of knowledge. He doesn't understand, and when you understand diversity, we have the pleasure of like living in England where there's so many different races, and I feel like because we have that knowledge to be accepting of other cultures, we can walk down the street, see an Asian person, and just look at them as an Asian, not look at them as an Indian, Pakistani, blah blah blah. Like, we can just look at them as a person. So I feel like lack of knowledge.
See, I take it as racism personally, but I take it as like racism through ignorance, in the way that he probably doesn't know a lot of black people. He's probably not grown up with like loads of black friends, so like to the extent that he's willing to put everyone in this one box. And it's just upsetting that this guy that that did the raping, like, the fact that out of everything that happened in that scenario, all that he took away from that was he was black. It's like, what about the fact that he's a rapist? Did you not want a rapist to come up to you and maybe you could go around killing rapists, because actually that would be a lot more beneficial than killing black people?
I just want to know what made him say this to a journalist. He knew that this was going to come out. Like, if I was journalist and I got that scoop, that is our career, like, booming. That is our big break. So he knew that was going to get out.
in some ways, though, he's, like I said, he's just an honest person. Like, he will say exactly how he feels. Like, I've seen him in many interviews and that, and I've watched him, and he is just an honest person. He will just say it how it is, kind of thing. Like, if he goes on a red carpet for a movie and that, he will say to whoever it is, this is how it went. This is what I thought of it. This is what happened. These are the ins and outs, kind of thing. He will just openly say it. He said it this time a bit too far and that, but like from my childhood experience, like I was the only dark-skinned like kid in 40 miles of my area, and I had people who used to come up to me and just used to do this on my arm, trying to rub off my colour, kind of thing, because they weren't used to seeing me. So if you grow up with not obviously knowing different ethnicities and knowing how to deal with that, then you obviously just learn from what other people say. Yeah, and you just generalise it.
I feel like his approach to the subject was totally wrong. You could have came out from a different angle and said it, and everyone would have been like, you know what, I get you, and I stand for what you stand for. But he came across as arrogant. Because I'm Liam Neeson, I can say what I want, type of thing. So
I'm interested.
I think he's somewhat remorseful. I think so. I don't think Liam Neeson, you know, can be labelled as like innately racist. I think he's become jaded by the event. I think it's totally just, you know, when something as tragic as that happens, as diabolical, you know, regardless of who they are, I think a person can get so caught up in it that it just consumes their whole being.
They don't think rationally.
They don't think rationally at all, you know. even when people have just deaths in their family that's just, you know, happenstance and natural causes, let alone like a vicious rape, you know, it can really change people, I think. And I think in that sort of, you know, because he said he was in sort of a mind space, I'm not empathising with him by any means, but I think even by admitting it, he is somewhat remorseful. I do agree that it's definitely, he's attacked it at the wrong angle. He's gone a little bit too, like, he needs to get off his pedestal and to speak normally sort of to the people kind of thing. He could have approached it from a different angle, but I don't think he's innately racist. I just think he you know, it was, that sort of statement is an act of racism.